She did not leave because she stopped feeling. She left because you lost leverage. In this video, I will show you why absence is never an accident, how power, once withdrawn with precision, compels its own return. I am Niccolo Machiavelli, and I speak not of love as poets do, but of rule, advantage, and consequence. When a woman departs, men rush toward apology, explanation, and pursuit, believing emotion restores what power has lost. They are mistaken. Human desire is governed not by kindness, but by tension, not by loyalty, but by perceived value. To regain what has left you, you must first understand why it no longer feared losing you. This discourse is not for the sentimental, but for those who prefer truth over comfort and control over illusion. When she leaves, you tell yourself a story. You say love faded. You say feelings died. But history laughs at such softness. No kingdom falls because affection vanished. It falls because authority weakened. Rome did not collapse from hatred of its rulers, but from contempt. So too in desire. She does not walk away because emotion disappeared. She walks away because power did. Ask yourself this without mercy. When did she stop measuring her actions against the possibility of losing you? When did your presence become guaranteed? The moment you were predictable, you became dispensable. Humans are governed less by attachment than by advantage. This is an uncomfortable truth, which is why most men reject it. They cling to romance as peasants cling to myths, hoping belief will protect them from reality. It will not. In every court I observed, loyalty followed strength. Princes were loved when they were feared to be lost, ignored when they were assured. The heart obeys the same arithmetic. Consider the merchant who discounts his wares endlessly. Do customers value him more or less? You did the same. You offered time without scarcity, attention without price, forgiveness without consequence, and then you were shocked when demand collapsed. Psychology names this phenomenon habituation. The mind stops registering what no longer requires effort to obtain. What costs nothing is treated as worth nothing. You trained her nervous system to relax around you. Comfort replaced tension. Safety replaced desire. And desire, unlike comfort, thrives only where risk exists. You confuse kindness with authority, but kindness without boundaries is submission. And submission invites replacement. Think of Cesare Borgia, who did not rule by cruelty alone, but by calibrated restraint. He rewarded, then withdrew. He granted favor, then delayed it. Thus men watched him closely, fearing absence more than punishment. You did the opposite. You were always available, always understanding, always there, and so your absence held no threat. Your presence held no weight. When she left, panic seized you. You chased. You explained. You begged for clarity. Each word you sent announced the same message. I need you more than you need me. Power hemorrhaged with every sentence. Understand this clearly. Leaving is not an act of hatred. It is an act of evaluation. She measured the cost of losing you and found it tolerable. That is the crime you committed. The mind of desire is ruthless. It invests only where returns exist. Once your value felt stable, fixed, predictable, the investment moved elsewhere, not because you were unworthy, but because you were certain. Certainty kills appetite. Mystery sustains it. This is why absence terrifies more than argument. Conflict signals engagement. Silence signals recalculation. When nothing pulls at the mind wanders. You believe love should be proven through pursuit. History proves the opposite. Those who are chased are not crowned. Those who are scarce are. Look back honestly. Were you leading or reacting, deciding or responding, setting terms or accepting them? The moment you stopped leading, the bond began dissolving. This is not cruelty. It is structure. All systems collapse without hierarchy. Relationships are no exception. You mistake departure for rejection, but it is negotiation by other means. She tests the world without you to see if gravity still exists. If nothing collapses, she learns she can survive. If nothing calls her back, she learns she does not need. This knowledge hardens quickly. The longer you rush to repair, the more you confirm her decision. Your urgency teaches her calm. Your explanations educate her indifference. Power is never reclaimed through persuasion. It is reclaimed through changed conditions. When the environment shifts, the mind follows. This is why restraint feels violent to the undisciplined. Doing nothing appears weak, yet it is the most aggressive repositioning. It forces the other to move, to imagine, to supply meaning. You are not disappearing, you are removing certainty, and certainty was the weapon used against you. Silence reshapes value faster than confession ever could. Remember this when restraint burns. If you wish to make her return, you must first understand why she could leave without fear. And in the next segment, you will learn how fear is restored without a single word. Silence is not emptiness. It is pressure without movement. Most men misunderstand this and destroy themselves by filling the void. When she leaves, your instinct screams to speak, to clarify, to explain, to fix. You believe words repair loss. They do not. Words dilute tension, and tension is the only currency desire respects. History shows this pattern without exception. When a ruler faced rebellion, those who negotiated too quickly appeared weak. Those who paused, who allowed uncertainty to ferment, forced the opposition to imagine consequences. Fear grows best in silence. You ask, why does absence work? Because the mind despises unanswered questions. It cannot tolerate open loops. When you vanish, her thoughts begin laboring on your behalf. You no longer pursue her attention. Her attention pursues you. This is not romance. It is neurology. The human brain is wired to prioritize unresolved stimuli. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. What is incomplete occupies more mental space than what is finished. By withdrawing, you reopen the narrative. You deny closure. And the mind, starved of certainty, turns inward. Recall the general who retreats not because he is defeated, but because terrain favors patience. His enemy advances, overextends, doubts. Victory arrives without a battle. Absence is that terrain. Yet men fear silence because it feels like surrender. They equate action with strength. This is childish. True control often appears motionless. When you continue messaging, apologizing, seeking reassurance, you offer her comfort. Comfort dissolves curiosity. Your availability anesthetizes her imagination. You become background noise in a mind already exploring alternatives. But when you stop, something unsettling occurs. Her nervous system, once relaxed, is reactivated. She notices the absence. Questions surface. Has he moved on? Has he reclaimed his life? Did I misjudge his value? These questions are not sentimental. They are evaluative. Desire begins as calculation before it becomes emotion. In Renaissance courts, princes used delay as a weapon. An audience denied grew more valuable than one granted freely. Expectation magnified status. So too with you. Absence is not disappearance. It is controlled scarcity. You do not vanish in bitterness or theatrics. You leave cleanly, calmly, without announcement. This restraint signals strength, not loss. Silence also restores symmetry. Before you reacted, now she must. The balance shifts invisibly, but decisively. You must understand timing. Withdraw too briefly, and nothing changes. Withdraw too long without foundation, and relevance fades. Strategy requires discipline, not ego. The goal is not punishment. It is recalibration. Think of a merchant who closes his shop temporarily. Rumors spread. Speculation grows. When he reopens, demand has sharpened. Scarcity educates desire. This is why your absence must be dignified. No dramatic exits, no cryptic messages, no passive-aggressive signals. Those betray need. Silence works only when it is believable. You must actually detach from the outcome. If you hover in desperation, the strategy collapses. She will feel the shift before she understands it. Energy always moves first. Behavior follows later. And here is the paradox that frightens weak men. The moment you no longer need her response, her curiosity awakens. Need repels. Self-sufficiency attracts. This is not manipulation for its own sake. It is the restoration of polarity. Desire requires distance. Without it, there is nothing to cross. Silence gives her space to feel the absence of what she assumed permanent. An absence, when unexpected, breeds respect. Consider your own past moments when someone pulled away and you felt the pull intensify. You checked messages, you reread conversation, you imagined outcomes. Nothing was said, yet everything was felt. That is the power you surrendered when you spoke too soon and stayed too long. Silence would have let the weight grow until choice felt urgent again for her. But silence alone is insufficient. Absence must be paired with a life that continues. a presence elsewhere, momentum you do not explain. When she senses that you are no longer waiting, something fractures. Certainty dissolves. The narrative reopens, and in that fracture, power slips back into your hands, but silence is only the first movement. Used improperly, it becomes emptiness. Used precisely, it becomes gravity. In the next segment, you will learn how unequal investment cements desire, and why chasing ensures you are never chosen again. Desire is not born from equality. It feeds on imbalance. The moment investment becomes equal, tension dies. When she left, you believed fairness would save you. You matched effort with effort, emotion with emotion, availability with availability. In doing so, you erased hierarchy. History teaches otherwise. Empires were not built on mutual need. They were built on dependency flowing in one direction. The provinces needed Rome more than Rome needed them. Thus, loyalty endured. In relationships, the same law governs. Whoever needs less controls more. This truth offends modern sensibilities, but power has never asked permission to exist. Ask yourself honestly, who adjusted schedules, who compromised boundaries, who feared loss more? That person was not leading, that person was following. Desire responds to value, not virtue. And value is measured by scarcity of investment. The one who gives more reveals dependence. The one who withholds retains leverage. Psychology confirms this brutality. People pursue what costs them effort. They protect what they invested in. Sunk cost creates attachment. Unequal investment creates longing. You made her the center. She made you an option. This imbalance did not begin when she left. It began when you overgave. You answered instantly. You forgave quickly. You sacrificed silently. Each concession felt loving. Each one reduced your perceived worth. In courts of old, nobles never revealed full devotion. They offered loyalty in measured portions. Thus princes wondered who truly stood with them. Mystery preserved influence. You offered certainty. Certainty is cheap. Consider the gambler. He values the game he risks more for. A small bet barely holds attention. A large stake commands obsession. So too with affection. When you invest more than she does, you gamble with desperation. You raise the stakes alone. She watches calmly, knowing loss will not wound her equally. This is why chasing never works. Pursuit advertises imbalance. It announces that your life shrank around her absence. Nothing erodes attraction faster. Power lies in asymmetry. The one less afraid to lose defines the rules. This is not cruelty. It is structure. You were taught that love means mutual giving. In stable bonds, perhaps. In unstable ones, this belief is fatal. Before trust exists, hierarchy decides everything. Look back. When she sensed you needed her, did she grow closer or pull away? When you were occupied, purposeful, slightly unreachable, did her interest sharpen? You already know the answer. The mind seeks elevation. It wants to rise toward what seems above it. Equal ground offers no climb. Unequal investment creates direction. One pursues. One evaluates. Your mistake was choosing to pursue without being chosen. Think of the general who commits all troops early. He leaves no reserve. When the tide turns, he cannot respond. You committed everything. When she withdrew, you had nothing left but pleading. Restraint is not coldness, it is foresight. Holding back preserves optionality. Optionality is power. To reverse the dynamic, you must rebalance investment, not through words, through behavior, through limits, through priorities that do not orbit her absence. When you invest less, not as punishment but as principle, something shifts. She feels the ground tilt. She wonders why effort is now required. Effort awakens value, but beware. False detachment fails. If restraint is a performance, it leaks. True imbalance comes from genuine self-direction. When your life expands beyond her, she must choose whether to step toward you. Choice restores polarity. This is the cruelty of desire. It does not reward devotion. It rewards self-possession. If you wish to be wanted, you must first be willing to be without. In the final segment, you will learn how to allow return without surrender, and why welcoming her back too warmly destroys everything you rebuilt. Remember this lesson. Power returns only when you stop pleading for it. The disciplined man frightens because he can walk away without noise. That calm threatens comfort. It forces others to decide. Most never do. They drift, hoping generosity will save them. It will not. Control emerges when you choose yourself first, without announcement, without resentment, without explanation. That quiet decision is the beginning of authority, and authority is always attractive to those who lost it. They return seeking it. You must decide if you will grant access. When she returns, the danger is greatest. Victory tempts softness. You waited. You withdrew. Power shifted. And now she reappears, testing the ground you reclaimed. Most men fail here. They celebrate return as redemption. They rush to reassure. They apologize for standing firm. In doing so, they surrender everything absence restored. History warns against this weakness. A prince who welcomes rebels too warmly invites the next revolt. Mercy without structure teaches defiance. So too in desire. Her return is not surrender. It is reconnaissance. She approaches to see if authority remains, or if need has reclaimed the throne. Ask yourself, does she return with clarity or ambiguity? With effort or nostalgia? With plans or vague emotion? These signals reveal intent. If you flood her with warmth, you erase the lesson absence taught. You confirm that departure carries no cost. You teach her she may leave again. Control is preserved through calm reception, not celebration. You greet her as you would an equal visitor, not a savior. Measured, present, unhurried. In Renaissance courts, rulers granted audience, not embrace. Distance maintained hierarchy. Closeness was earned over time. Psychologically, this matters. The mind tracks contrast. If return is rewarded instantly, the tension collapses. Desire requires uncertainty even after reunion. You must allow her to feel that access is conditional, not through threats, through standards. This is where most men panic. They fear losing her again, so they overcompensate. Fear poisons authority. Remember, she returned because something changed in you. If you revert, the reason dissolves. Do not interrogate her absence. Questions reveal insecurity. Let her speak if she chooses. Silence invites disclosure. Set pace deliberately. Do not rush intimacy. Do not resume old routines. Let her adjust to the new terms. Think of Florence reclaiming a city. Order was restored gradually. Too much freedom too soon bred chaos. You must remain centered in your life. Friends, purpose, momentum. She enters this structure, she does not replace it. When boundaries appear effortless, they command respect. When enforced emotionally, they invite challenge. This is not cruelty. It is continuity. Observe her behavior, not her words. Words negotiate. Actions confess. Does she invest time? Does she follow through? Does she adapt to your rhythm? These answers decide everything. If she resists structure, let her go again. Authority that must beg is already lost. The greatest power move is neutrality. You are pleased, not relieved. Interested, not desperate. Many men believe strength is shown by forgiveness. True strength is shown by selectivity. Machiavelli warned that men love at their convenience, but fear at yours. Fear here is not terror. It is the fear of losing access. If she senses you would survive without her, she behaves differently. If she senses you would collapse, she governs. Never explain your standards. Explanations invite negotiation. Standards simply exist. Let time do the work. Time exposes intent. Those who return for comfort grow impatient. Those who return with respect adapt. If she earns closeness, grant it slowly. Reward consistency, not promises. And remember this, allowing return is not forgiveness. It is probation. The story is not over when she comes back. It begins again under new laws. In the final reckoning, you must decide whether power serves reunion or reunion destroys power. That decision determines whether history repeats or ends. You are judged not by how you win her back, but by how you keep yourself. If power dissolves upon reunion, the departure was merely delayed. Stability is tested after desire returns. Most men relax too early and mistake familiarity for safety. Safety invites erosion. Maintain your posture. Maintain your pace. Let uncertainty linger just enough to command respect. This is not about punishment. It is about governance. A realm survives because laws remain after war ends. So must yours. Hold the line quietly. Watch what she does next. The future reveals itself through repetition, not promises, and the man who understands this never needs to chase, explain, or plead again. Power is preserved by men who remember the lesson when emotion returns and temptation whispers surrender, and they answer with discipline instead of desire, choosing command over comfort, structure over chaos, and foresight over fleeting relief. That is final law. Control is never announced. It is felt. Those who believe they are free rarely question the hand guiding them. This is the oldest truth of power. Influence works best when it appears natural, when choice feels voluntary, when the subject believes the decision was their own. You've seen it now. Power is not force. It is structure. It is silence where others speak, restraint where others chase, standards where others beg. Ask yourself who truly governs, the one who reacts, or the one who remains unmoved. People do not submit to strength alone. They submit to certainty, scarcity, and consequence. Remove one and control collapses. Maintain all three, and obedience feels like desire. This knowledge is dangerous. That is why it is hidden beneath romance, morality, and comforting lies. But you did not come here for comfort. You came for clarity. If this truth unsettled you, it is working. Now speak. Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe if you seek strategies not taught openly. And share this with those who still believe power is loud. Those who understand control never raise their voice.